All right, we're watching the State of the Union. We'll see what kind of state the Union is in currently. As you can see, Joe Biden is shaking people's hands. I should probably turn the audio on. That might help. But yeah, so they're shaking hands. We got the sign language lady. She's hanging out. I think her eyes are open, honestly, but yeah. Let's see what's going on here. Yeah, while that's going. This is it. This is the State of the Union. We will be seeing what state the Union is in. And I'll probably be yelling at this because what else are you gonna do, you know? Oh shit, he about to start talking, yo.
Members of Congress, I have the high privilege and distinct honor to present to you the President of the United States.
Mr. Speaker. Thank you. You can smile. It's okay. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. Please.
It's the State of the Union.
Mr. Speaker.
We out here.
Madam Vice President. Our First Lady and Second Gentleman. Good to see you guys up there.
Hey, you didn't fuck up.
Members of
That's pretty
Congress.
cool. Let's see if this is working. Yep, I'm right there. Why did it stop? Why did it stop? Alright, there we go. Now it should be working.
By the way, Chief Justice, I may need a court order. She gets to go to the game tomorrow, next week. I have to stay home.
She gets to go to the what?
Got to work something out here. Members of the Cabinet.
He already fucked up. It hadn't even been 2 minutes yet, and he already...
And retired Justice of the Supreme
Oh,
Court.
you're not doing good.
And to you, my
Right,
fellow Americans.
Adjust this quick.
You know, I start tonight by congratulating the 118th Congress.
Edit, transform.
The new Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy.
Alright, it keeps fucking glitching out because the cord's all weird right now. God, I got the cords all tangled
Speaker,
and on top of each other,
reputation,
so
but I look forward to working with you.
when I was touching the microphone, I pulled a Joe Biden. Let's
I
just
want
say
to
that.
congratulate the new leader of the House Democrats, the first
All right.
African-American minority leader in history, Hakeem Jeffries.
Hakeem. Battery exhausted. That's a terrible picture for the camera to just die at. Yeah, we're just gonna get rid of that for now. Apparently it's
He won in spite of the fact I can't.
camera's
pay for it.
dead, but it says it's charging when it's on.
Longest-serving leader in the
So I thought
history
you
of
could
the
use it while it
United
was
States
charging.
Senate,
Apparently
Mitch
not.
McConnell. Where are you, Mitch?
Because that's a little thing saying it's charging. Alright, I'm gonna go back to full screen. Give me a second to get this camera situation sorted out. 'Cause
Congratulations to
I do
Chuck
have a
Schumer,
webcam, but the
another,
webcam kind of sucks.
You know, another term as Senate.
Oh, you can text
Minority
President
Leader,
Biden.
You know, I think you.
Sure, there's probably a
this
lot
time
of
you have a
angry
slightly
texts going
bigger
out right
majority,
now.
Mr. Leader. You're the majority leader.
That's
About that much bigger?
something. All right, one second.
Well, I tell you what, I want to give special recognition to someone who I think is going to be considered the greatest speaker in the history of the House of Representatives, Nancy Pelosi. Folks, the story of America is a story of progress and resilience, of always moving forward, of never, ever giving up. It's a story unique among all nations. We're the only country that has emerged from every crisis we've ever entered stronger than we got into it. Look,
I don't
folks,
know if that's actually
that's
true.
what we're doing
I feel like
again.
he's lying.
2 years ago, the economy was reeling. I stand here tonight after we've created, with the help of many people in this room, 12 million new jobs. More jobs created in 2 years than any president's created in 4 years because
You
of
know
you
what?
all.
When
Because of
he
the
made
American
6
people.
million jobs, the only thing I was thinking was, come on, Joe, 6
2 years
million
ago-
more. 6 million more, meaning jobs, because we got 12 million. So when we got 6 million,
2
I was
years
like,
ago,
come on.
COVID had shut down, our businesses were closed, our schools were robbed of so much. And
Yeah, because of
today,
you guys.
COVID
You
no
guys
longer
did that.
controls our lives.
You guys did
2
that.
years ago, democracy faced its greatest threat to the Civil War, and today,
Yeah,
we're
it did.
bruised,
You
our
guys stealing the
democracy
election
remains
and shit.
unbowed and
That was the
unbroken.
problem. Dicks. President Biden, State of
As
the
we gather
Union.
here tonight, we're writing the next chapter in the great American story,
We're
a story
ready
of
the next
progress and
chapter.
resilience. When world leaders ask me to define America, and they do, believe it or not, I can define it in one word, and I mean this: possibilities. We don't think anything is beyond our capacity. Everything is a possibility.
Yeah, but there's a lot of stuff that
You
is
know, we're
beyond our
often told
capacity, and maybe
that
that's part of the
Democrats
problem.
and Republicans can't work together. But over the past 2 years, we've proved the cynics and naysayers wrong. Yes,
You really haven't,
we
though.
disagreed plenty. And yes, there were times when Democrats went alone. But time and again, Democrats and Republicans came together to defend a stronger and safer Europe. It came together to pass once in a generation infrastructure law, building bridges connecting our nation and our people. We came together to pass the most significant law ever, helping victims exposed to toxic burn pits. And in fact,
You guys made him burn that shit. That was your shit. We did really good.
important.
We are gonna give people money that we told them to burn stuff that got them sick.
In
It was
fact,
all our stuff, and we made them burn
I
it.
signed
We
over
told them if they didn't, they go to
300
jail. We're gonna give
bipartisan
them money
pieces of
now.
legislation since
What the
becoming
fuck good does that do? They all
from
got cancer and
reauthorizing
shit.
the Violence Against Women Act, the Electoral Count Reform Act, the Respect for Marriage Act that protects the right to marry the person you love. And to my Republican friends, if we could work together the last Congress, there's no reason we can't work together and find
It's not true,
consensus
'cause I love
on
Shrek,
important
and I'm
things
still
in
not
this
allowed to
Congress
marry
as
him.
well. Folks, you all are as formed as I am, but I think the people sent us a clear message. Fighting for the sake of fighting, power for the sake of power, conflict for the sake of conflict gets us nowhere. That's always been my vision of our country, and I know it's many of yours.
Fucking, didn't
To
he
restore
just
the
say he was
soul of
gonna
this
beat
nation,
up
rebuild
Trump
the
like 2
backbone
years
of
ago? He's like,
America,
I wish I could
America's
take him
middle
behind the
class,
boathouse and
and
suck
unite
his
the
dick or
country.
something. I don't know what he said
We've
exactly.
been sent here
but
to finish the
it was
job,
kind
in
of
my
threatening.
view. For decades, the middle class has been hollowed out in more than, and not no one administration, but for a long time.
Yeah,
Too
and
many
it
good
still
paying
is.
manufacturing
It's
jobs
getting
move
worse,
overseas.
buddy.
Factories closed down.
I wonder
Once
if you could
thriving
read the
cities
sign
and towns
language
that
if
many
it's
do
telling the
represent
truth, and like
became
deaf people are
shadows of
just
what they used to
terrified
be.
right now.
Along
He's
the way,
like, yeah, we're
something else we
fucking
lost.
over everybody, and
Pride,
you're gonna lose your house.
sense
And
of
the deaf
self-worth.
people are like, oh my
I
god.
ran for president to
But everyone else is
fundamentally
just
change
listening
things,
to his words
to
and
make
going,
sure
oh,
our economy
this
works for
doesn't
everyone.
sound that bad.
So we can all feel that pride in what we do. To build an economy from the bottom up and the middle out, not from the top down. Because when the middle class does well, the poor have a ladder up, and the wealthy still do very well. We all do well.
Well, it'd be great if that were to happen. Is that Paul Pelosi next to Maxine Waters? That
I
dude
know
looks
a
like
lot of you always kid me
fucking
for always
someone from
quoting
the
my
Addams
dad. But
family,
my dad
and not
used to
Wednesday.
say, Joey, a job's about a lot more than a paycheck. He really would say this.
Kamala Harris is
About a
drinking
lot
water
more
out
than
of
a
a
paycheck.
scotch glass.
It's about your dignity.
It's going pretty
It's
well.
about respect. It's about being able to look your kid
Her,
in the eye
her
and say, honey,
suit thing
it's
looks
going to
kind of
be
cool,
okay.
but it looks
and
kind of
mean
weird.
it.
But I mean, I see what they're
Folks,
going for with it. It's not
so
bad.
let's look at the
I
results.
gotta give it.
We're not
I
finished
give
yet
her.
by
I
any
didn't mean
stretch of
it as in-
imagination. But
Okay, I'm gonna
unemployment
stop.
rate is at 3.4%.
Why does she get the hammer, though?
Year low.
She gets the hammer and she gets the water in the Scotch glass.
A near record unemployment.
Yeah, because he kicked everybody off unemployment.
Near record unemployment for black and Hispanic workers. We've already created, with your help, 800,000 good-paying manufacturing
Joe Biden
jobs.
finally
The
put 'em to
fastest
work.
growth in 40 years.
Thanks to me, I got more blacks
Where is it
working
written?
than any. Wait, what?
Where is it written that America can't lead the world in manufacturing? And I don't know where that's written. For too many decades, we imported projects and exported jobs. Now, thanks to what you've all done, we're exporting American products and creating American jobs.
Yeah, we don't have the supplies to do it. Everything at my work was on back order for like 2 months. And what the fuck is that
Inflation.
thing in the center?
Inflation
weird
has been a
gremlin
global
creature
problem
next to
because the
Maxine
pandemic
Waters,
disrupted our supply chains, and Putin's unfair and brutal war in Ukraine disrupted energy supplies as well as
And
food
also
supplies,
the money
blocking
part
all
where
that
we
grain
just
in
keep
Ukraine.
giving blank checks.
But we're
to
better
people.
positioned than any country on earth right now. But we have more to do. But here at home, inflation is coming down. Here at home, gas prices are down $1.50 from their peak.
Huh.
Food inflation is coming down.
No,
Not
it's
fast
not.
enough, but coming down. Inflation has fallen every month for the last 6 months.
Except for like
Take-home
eggs and
pay
meat.
has gone up. Additionally, over the last 2 years, a record 10 million Americans applied to start new businesses. 10 million. And by the way, every time
I don't know why they don't just find a
Every
way
time
to
someone
make the
starts
bread
a
cost
small
more
business
because
is an
that's
act of
unhealthy. And
Madam
then
Vice
take the
President, I
money
wanna
that they
thank
make
you
from charging the
for
bread
leading
more
that
to
effort
give it to
ensure
the
that
meat
small
people so our
businesses
meat's
have access
cheaper.
to capital and the historic
So we
laws
have, you know what I
reenacted
mean?
that
It's
are
kind of
gonna
like
just
robbing
come into
Peter to
being.
pay Paul. But at the same
Standing
time,
here last year,
if they were to tax the
shared with
bread,
you a
use that money
story
to subsidize the
of
meat
American
companies, we could
genius
get the
and
meat prices down
possibilities.
and people would eat less bread
Semiconductors,
because then,
small
they'd eat
computer
less
chips
bread.
the size of a fingerprint.
Because bread and
that power
carbs and stuff
everything,
are really unhealthy
from cell
anyways.
phones,
So
automobiles, and
if
so
we
much
started
more.
taxing that stuff,
These chips were invented
you know
in
what I mean?
America.
If you could afford more
Let's get
burgers,
that straight. They were
but you could
invented
get,
in America.
maybe one pack of buns, and
We
instead of
used to
throwing
make
half of it away with mold on it, you're
40%
actually
of the
using
world's
the
chips.
food.
In the last several decades, we
Kind of
lost our
balance out
edge.
the pricing a little
We're down
bit.
to only
And also, I don't
producing
buy bread, so
10%.
then you guys can pay for my.
We all saw
pay for
what
my ground
happened during the
beef, so
pandemic when chip factories shut
maybe
down
that's the real
overseas.
reason I'm saying this. I'm not sure.
Today's automobiles
But I don't
need
know. It sounded kind of smart
3,000
for a little bit.
chips each of those automobiles.
A little.
But American
little
automobiles
something
couldn't
there.
make enough cars because there weren't enough chips.
Just tax the bread
Car
and
prices went
subsidize
up,
meat companies
people
with
got
the
laid off.
taxes from the bread.
So did everything from refrigerators to cell phones.
And pop and
We
stuff like
can
that.
never let that happen again. That's why. That's
What
why
happened
we
again?
came
I kinda missed what
together
he's talking about.
to pass the bipartisan Chips and Science Act.
Chips and science. I like chips and salsa personally, but chips and science. Meaning what? Why is everyone clapping except for the two people on the side? We got the white guy dressed in black and the black lady dressed in white. That's kind of weird,
I
right?
know I've been criticized.
Holy
for
shit,
saying
we
this,
got the
but I'm
black
not
Mr.
changing my
Peanut
view.
right there, too. He's
We're going to
pretty
make
cool.
sure the
He
supply
needs one of those
chain
monocles
for
and a
America
top hat, and that dude would be
begins in
styling.
America.
I swear.
The supply chain begins in America.
Like, I can picture him with a top hat and a cane.
We've already
and
created.
honestly, I think it would work pretty well. Fuck, they
We've
make
already
everyone else a
created
different race. Like, why don't they just make, like,
800,000
Mr.
new
Peanut black?
manufacturing jobs
and
without
have him
this
wearing, like, a
law,
really, like,
before the law
clean and, like,
kicks in.
white suit, you know?
With this new
like
law, we're going to
white
create
top
hundreds
hat.
of thousands of new jobs across the country.
Obnoxious,
I mean, all
colored,
across the country. Throughout not just the coast, but through the
whatever
middle of
called,
the country
like,
as well.
bow tie, almost said
That's
ribbon.
going to come from companies that have announced
You know,
more than
why don't they do that?
$300 billion in investment
Also,
in American manufacturing.
That sign
over the
language
next
lady is
few
really
years.
making this all about her.
Outside of Columbus, Ohio.
See that? She's
Intel's
like, look at
building
her face.
semiconductor
She's
factories
like,
on
seize
1,000
up.
acres.
I'm
Literally
drinking, we
a
drinking,
field
we
of dreams.
smoking. That's what
It's gonna
she's saying
create
right now.
10,000
She's like, oh
jobs,
yeah,
that
we
one
rolled that
investment.
shit fast.
7,000
See?
construction
Yeah,
jobs.
and then I spilled some, but
3,000
it's okay
jobs
because we got
in those
more.
factories once they're
I
finished.
think that's what
They
she's
call
saying.
them factories.
Oh, when she's like, yeah, we
Jobs paying
smoking
an
that
average
shit.
of
I don't
$130,000
know.
a
Yeah,
year.
And then, I don't know
And
what
many
she's
do
talking
not
about now.
require a
She's
college
like, yeah, we
degree.
got bands, homie. We got bands. I'm putting the money out at the club. Oh, we circling back.
Jobs.
Oh, shit. Yep, I put it away. Because you know that shit loud.
Because
You
we
got
work
that
together,
loud.
these
It gets
jobs
all
where
over your
people don't
fingers.
have to
And
leave
then you
home to
touch your
search for
eyes and your eyes
opportunity.
get all puffy
It's
because you're
just getting
allergic.
started. Think
That's-
about the
that's
new
what the sign
homes, the
language
small
lady's
businesses,
saying.
the medium-sized
it's the
businesses.
state of the
so much
motherfucking
more
union.
that's going to be needed to support
We're out
those
here.
3,000 permanent jobs.
Ghost,
And the
are you
factories
aware
are
of
gonna
what
be
the
built.
State of the Union is?
Talk to mayors and governors, Democrats and Republicans.
What
and
about
they'll tell you
What are we saying?
what this means for their communities. We're seeing these Field of Dreams transform to the heartland.
Oh shit, Field of Dreams. I
But
never
to
saw
maintain
that,
the
but I heard it's
strongest
good.
economy in the world, we need the best infrastructure in the world.
Yeah, we don't have
Folks.
the best economy in the world or the best infrastructure, so.
As you all know,
Oh, those two people in the back are giggling. They're like, he doesn't know what he's talking
we
about. does
used
he?
to
And they're
be
like,
number
"No."
one in the world in infrastructure.
Yeah,
We've
a
sunk to
long time
13th
ago.
in the world.
Like right around when
The
you
United
first went
States of
into
America.
government.
13th in the world in infrastructure, modern
That's
infrastructure.
funny.
But now we're coming back because we came together and passed the bipartisan infrastructure law.
He keeps talking
The
about
largest
coming
investment in
together. Is there
infrastructure
some sort
since
of weird
President
orgy he's
Eisenhower's
thinking about
interstate
later?
highway
He's like,
system.
yeah, we're about to all come together. We're about to all go in the back and we're all going to come together one more time.
And folks,
Like, that's what he's saying, right?
already we've funded over
Got all
20,000
those
projects,
weird sex maniacs.
including major
like
airports
that
from
weird
Boston
purple
to
hair
Atlanta
thing
to
in the
Portland.
front.
Projects that are going to put thousands of people to work rebuilding
We
our
got
highways,
projects
our
that you're
bridges,
gonna put the
our
blacks back in
railroads,
the
our
projects,
tunnels,
and you're
ports,
setting them all
airports,
back
clean
to work.
water, high-speed internet, all
Is that what
across
he's-
America.
Is that what he's saying?
Urban, rural, tribal. And folks,
Oh, yeah, gang
just
warfare,
getting
tribal.
started. We're just getting started.
Oh, I know.
And I mean it sincerely. I want to thank my Republican friends who voted for the law. And my Republican friends who voted
Voted
against
for the
it as
law
well.
of what? Which law?
But I still get asked to fund the projects in those districts as well. But don't worry. I promised I'd be a president for all Americans. We'll fund these projects. And I'll see you at the groundbreaking.
Why isn't he wearing a ring? I thought he was married. That's weird,
Look,
right?
this law,
I mean, you'd think the president would be wearing a wedding
This law will
ring because
further
he's
unite
like
all
married to
Americans.
Jill Biden.
projects like Brent Spence Bridge in
But he's
Kentucky
not
over
wearing
the
a ring
Ohio
on either
River,
finger. Or
built
neither
60
hand.
years ago. Badly needed repairs, one of the nation's most congested freight routes, carrying $2 billion worth of freight every single day across the Ohio River. And folks, I've been talking about fixing it for decades.
Sign language lady
but we're really
is,
finally going to get it done. I
sign
went
language
there
lady's
last
wearing a
month
ring. Kamala
with
Harris is wearing a
Democrats
ring.
and Republicans and from both states to deliver a commitment
She's
of
laughing.
$1.6 billion for this project. And while I was there, I met a young woman named Sarah, who's here tonight. I don't know where Sarah is. Is she up in the box?
Oh
I
fuck,
don't
is
know.
Sarah dead?
Sarah, how are you?
That's a man.
Well, Sarah, for 30 years,
That is Mike Tyson.
I learned, she told me she'd
That
been a
was one of the
proud
Wyan
member of the
brothers.
Iron Workers Local 44,
From Scary
known as
Movie. Oh shit.
the Cowboys in the Sky.
What?
The folks who built
Is that what you guys say after you
built
shoot a border
Cincinnati
patrol
skyline.
agent?
Sarah said she can't wait to be 10 stories above the Ohio River building that new bridge. God bless her. That's pride. And that's what we're also building. We're building back pride. Look, we're also replacing poisonous lead pipes that go into 10 million homes in America. 400,000 school and child care centers. So every child in America can drink the water instead of having permanent damage to their brain. Look,
That was going on when you were vice
we're
president.
making sure
It's been a long time.
every community in America has access to affordable high-speed internet. No parent should have to drive by McDonald's parking lot to help them do their homework online with their kids, which many thousands were doing across the country. And when we do these projects, and again I get criticized for this, but I make no excuses for it, we're going to buy American. We're going to buy American. Folks,
Nice, we're only gonna get American cobalt. Why John Fetterman not stand up? Oh,
and
he
it's
has a brain
totally,
thing.
it's totally consistent with
We
international
need
trade
American
rules.
cobalt for American
Why
batteries
America's
and
been the
American
law
cars.
since 1933, but for too long,
This is
past
sponsored by
administrations,
Nissan.
Democrat and Republican, have fought to get around it. Not anymore. Tonight, I'm announcing new standards that require all construction materials using federal infrastructure projects to be made in America.
That's pretty awesome, actually.
Made in America.
No cap, 100. Fire, fire, fire.
I mean it. Lumber.
If he did shit like that, I'd vote for him.
Glass, drywall, fiber optic cable. And on my watch, American roads, bridges, American highways are going to be
It's
made
good
with
because if
American
China
products as
EMP
well.
attacks us, we're not
Folks,
going to be able to buy
my
it foreign
economic plan is
anyways.
about investing in places and people that have been forgotten. So many of you listening to me tonight, I know you feel it. So many of you felt like you've just simply been forgotten. Amid the economic upheaval of the past 4 decades, too many people have been left behind.
I'm not sure if that balloon
Treat it
thing,
like
I mean,
they're
I know it was a
invisible.
psyop, but
Maybe
I feel
that's
like it's
you
also
watching
to like
from
make
home.
Joe Biden not look incompetent.
Remember the jobs that went away. You
I feel like
remember
they
them,
floated
don't you?
that fucking balloon probably from the United
Folks at
States.
home
Blame
remember
China for it.
You
And
wonder
then have
whether
Joe
the
Biden
path
shoot it
even
down for like
exists anymore
clout. So that way people
for
are
your
like, well, we
children to
need
get
him.
ahead without having to
Like
move
that's
away.
definitely some shit they do.
Well, that's why I get that. That's why we're building an economy where no one's left behind. Jobs are coming back. Pride
No
is
child
coming
left
back.
behind didn't work. We're gonna do
Because
no
choices
person
we
in
made
the
in the
economy
last
left
several
behind now.
years. You know, this is, in my view, a blue-collar blueprint to rebuild America and make a real difference in your lives at home. For example, too many of you lay in bed at night like my dad did, staring at the ceiling, wondering what in God's names happens if your spouse
Oh shit! What are those
gets
green
cancer,
health people gonna or
or your
whatever?
child gets deadly ill, or something happens
What are those
to you.
eco terrorists gonna do now?
What are you going to get money to
Because
pay for those
he's
medical
like, we need
bills?
American lumber
You're
and
going to have
American.
to sell the house. Or
That means they're
try
gonna
to get a
start
second
logging
mortgage
more
on it.
here, and that's
I
gonna
get
piss
it.
those people off.
I get it. With the Inflation Reduction Act that I signed into law, we're taking on powerful interests to bring healthcare costs down so you can sleep better at night with more security. You know, we pay more for prescription drugs than any nation in the world.
Yeah, because
Let me
most
say it
countries
again.
are free.
We pay more for
that
prescription
we're paying
drugs
anything
than any
means we're
major
paying more.
nation on earth. For example, 1 in 10 Americans has diabetes. Many of you
If
in
1
this
in 10 Americans
chamber
has
do.
diabetes, we should
And in the
definitely be
audience.
taxing bread.
But every day, millions need insulin
Bread
to control
and
their
pop should be
diabetes.
taxed and used
so
to
they can
subsidize
literally stay
healthier
alive.
foods like meat and other things like
Insulin's
that,
been around for over 100
Fish.
years.
which is a form
The
of
guy who
meat.
invented it didn't even patent it because he wanted it to be
Or is
available.
meat a
for
type
everyone.
of fish?
It costs
all
the drug
perceptive.
companies
If you believe in
roughly
evolution, then meat is a type
$10
of
a
fish
vial
because
to
we
make
all
that
used to be
insulin.
fish. So checkmate.
packaging and all,
I
and you
don't
may get
believe
up to
that, but
$13.
That's what you think.
But Big Pharma has been unfairly charging people hundreds of dollars, $400 to $500 a month, making
Yeah, they've been doing that
record
for a long
profits.
time.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
No, they're still doing it, though. They are still doing it. They are still doing it. Very much so.
So many things that we did.
I don't know why nobody's
Are only
watching my
now
stream.
coming to
Probably
fruition.
because they're all gay. They all have
We
AIDS.
said we were doing this, and we said we passed the law to do it, but people didn't know because the law didn't take effect until January 1 of this year. We capped the
We
cost of
out
insulin
here.
at $35 a month for seniors on Medicare.
5-1 slash, bitch, we out.
People are just finding out. I'm sure you're getting the same calls I'm getting.
The ones that
Look,
are threatening.
there are millions of other
The calls Joe
Americans
Biden gets are the ones saying that he
who
needs
not,
to
are not on
update his
Medicare,
Microsoft account. He
including
needs to buy a bunch of Walmart gift
200,000
cards.
young people with type 1 diabetes and need this insulin to stay alive. Let's finish the job this time. Let's cap the cost of insulin for everybody at $35. Folks, and Big Pharma's still going to do very well, I promise y'all. I promise you, they're going to do very well. This law also caps and won't even go into effect until 2025. Costs, out-of-pocket drug costs for seniors on Medicare at a maximum of $2,000 a year. You don't have to pay more than $2,000 a year, no matter how much your drug costs are. Because you know why? You all know it. Many of you, like many in my family, have cancer. You know the drugs can range from 10,
Yep.
11, 14, $15,000 for the cancer drugs.
Yep, and it's going to
Drug prices rise faster than inflation. Drug companies are going to have to pay Medicare back the difference. We're finally giving Medicare the power to negotiate drug prices. Bringing down
Yeah, in like 4 years.
Bringing down prescription drug costs doesn't just save seniors money, it cuts the federal deficit by billions of dollars, by hundreds of billions of dollars. Because these prescription drugs are drugs purchased by Medicare to keep their commitment to the seniors. Well, guess what? Instead of paying $400 or $500 a month, you're paying $15. That's a lot of savings for the federal government. And by the way, why would we want that? Now, some members here are threatening, and I know it's not an official party position, so I'm not going to exaggerate, but threatening to repeal the Inflation Reduction Act. As my coach, that's okay, that's fair. As my football coach used to say, lots of luck in your senior year. Make no mistake, if you try anything to raise the cost of prescription drugs, I will veto it.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's trying to do that.
Look, I'm pleased to say that more Americans have health insurance now than ever in history. A record 16 million people are enrolled in the Affordable Care Act. And thanks to the law I signed last year, saving millions are saving $800 a year on their premiums. And by the way, that law was written and the benefit expires in 2025. So my plea to some of you, at least in this audience, let's finish the job and make these savings permanent. Expand coverage of Medicaid. Look, the Inflation Reduction Act is also the most significant investment ever in climate change. Ever. Lowering utility bills, creating American jobs, leading the world to a clean energy future. I visited the devastating aftermath of record floods, droughts, storms, and wildfires from Arizona to New Mexico to all the way up to the Canadian border. More timber has been burned, as I've observed from helicopters, than the entire state of Missouri. And we don't have global warming? Not a problem. In addition to emergency recovery from Puerto Rico to Florida to Idaho, we're rebuilding for the long term. New electric grids that are able to weather major storms and not prevent those forest fires. Roads and water systems withstand the next big flood. Clean energy to cut pollution and create jobs in communities often left behind. We're going to build 500,000 electric vehicle charging stations installed across the country by tens of thousands of IBEW workers. And we're helping families save more than $1,000 a year with tax credits to purchase electric vehicles and efficient appliances, energy-efficient appliances.
He almost said that right.
To be responsible stewards of our land. Let's face reality. The climate crisis doesn't care if you're in a red or blue state. It's an existential threat. We have an obligation, not to ourselves, but to our children and grandchildren to confront it. I'm proud of how
if it was an existential threat, they'd all be making sacrifices too, and they'd be like really serious as an example of what we should be doing. They wouldn't just be telling us to do it.
No, we do. But there's so much more to do. We got to finish the job. We pay for these investments in our future by finally making.
Like if they actually believed that, they'd be the ones like chaining themselves to gas pumps and shit like that. They'd be like, we need to stop this.
Let's begin.
Instead of just, having car collections and flying first class everywhere and having private jets and shit like that.
Look, I'm a capitalist. I'm a capitalist, but pay your fair share. I think a lot of you at home agree with me and many people that you know. The
Probably
tax
not.
system is not fair.
Is it?
It is not fair.
Nothing's fair.
Look, the idea that in 2020, 55 of the largest corporations in America, the Fortune 500, made $40 billion in profits and paid zero in federal taxes? Zero? Folks, it's simply not fair. But now, because of the law I signed, billion-dollar companies have to pay a minimum of 15%. God love them. 15%. That's less than a nurse pays.
Is that why they're all moving overseas?
And let me be crystal clear. I said at the very beginning, under my plans, as long as I'm president, nobody earning less than $400,000 will pay an additional penny in taxes. Nobody, not one penny. But let's finish the job. There's more to do. We have to reward work, not just wealth. Pass my proposal for the billionaire minimum tax. You know, there's 1,000 billionaires in America. It's up from about 600 in the beginning of the term. But no billionaire should be paying a lower tax rate than a school teacher or firefighter. I mean it. Think about it. I mean, look. I know you aren't enthusiastic about that, but think about it. Think about it. Have you noticed Big Oil just reported its profits, record profits? Last year they made $200 billion in the midst of a global energy crisis. I think it's outrageous. Why? They invested too little of that profit to increase domestic production. And when I talk to a couple of them, they say, we're afraid you're going to shut down all the oil wells, all the oil refineries anyway, so why should we invest in them? I said, we're going to need oil for at least another decade. And that's going to exceed, and beyond that, we're going to need it. Production. If they had, in fact, invested in the production to keep gas prices down, instead, they used the record profits to buy back their own stock, rewarding the CEOs and shareholders. Corporations ought to do the right thing. That's why I propose we quadruple the tax on corporate stock buybacks and encourage long-term investments. They'll still make considerable profit. Let's finish the job and close the loopholes that allow very wealthy to avoid paying their taxes. Instead of cutting the number of audits for wealthy taxpayers, I just signed a law to reduce the deficit by $114 billion by cracking down on wealthy tax cheats. That's being fiscally responsible. In the last 2 years, my administration has cut the deficit by more than $1.7 trillion, the largest deficit reduction in American history. Under the previous administration, the American deficit went up 4 years in a row. Because those record deficits, no president added more to the national debt in any 4 years than my predecessor. Nearly 25% of the entire national debt that took over 200 years to accumulate was added by just one administration alone, the last one. They're the facts. Check it out. Check it out. How did Congress respond to that debt? They did the right thing. They lifted the debt ceiling 3 times without preconditions or crisis. They paid American bills to prevent an economic disaster to the country. So tonight I'm asking the Congress to follow suit. Let's commit here tonight to the full faith and credit of the United States of America will never, ever be questioned. Some of my Republican friends want to take the economy hostage. I get it, unless I agree to their economic plans. All of you at home should know what those plans are. Instead of making the wealthy pay their fair share, some Republicans want Medicare and Social Security to sunset. I'm not saying it's a majority. Let me
Why are
give
they booing? I don't understand what happened.
Anybody who doubts it,
What?
contact my office.
What?
I'll give you a copy. I'll give you a copy of the proposal.
What?
That means Congress doesn't vote. Well, I'm glad to see you. And I tell you, I enjoy conversion. You know, it means if
Why are they booing him? I didn't hear what happened.
Say, I'm not saying it's a majority of you. I don't even think it's even a significant. But it's being proposed by individuals. I'm not politely not naming them, but it's being proposed by some of you.
Yeah, that's like,
look,
people are. I've never heard this out of a State of the Union before.
The idea is
where he's saying things and people are like,
we're not going to be
yeah, about ready to throw shit at him, and I don't even know what he said.
If we don't respond, folks.
Now people are clapping again. Is it just going to be a fist fight? Is it going to turn into what happens in British Parliament, where they like throw shit at each other? And yeah.
So, folks, as we all apparently agree,
something interesting will be happening.
Social Security and Medicare is off the books now, right? They're not to be started. All right. I'm ready. We got unanimity. Social Security and Medicare are a lifeline for millions of seniors. Americans have to pay into them from the very first paycheck they started. So tonight, let's all agree, and we apparently are, let's stand up for seniors. Stand up and show them. We'll not cut Social Security. We will not cut Medicare. Those benefits belong to the American people. They earned it. And if anyone tries to cut Social Security, which apparently no one's going to do, and if anyone tries to cut Medicare, I'll stop them. I'll veto it. And look, I'm not going to allow them to be taken away. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. But apparently it's not going to be a problem. Next month, when I offer my fiscal plan, I ask my Republican friends to lay down their plan as well. I really mean it. Let's sit down together and discuss our mutual plans together. Let's do that. I can tell you, the plan I'm going to show you is going to cut the deficit by another $2 trillion. And it won't cut a single bit of Medicare or Social Security. In fact, we're going to extend the Medicare Trust Fund at least 2 decades, because that's going to be the next argument. How do we keep it solvent, right? Well, we'll not raise tax on anyone making under 400 grand, but we'll pay for it the way we talked about tonight, by making sure that the wealthy and big corporations pay their fair share. Look. Here's the deal. They aren't just taking advantage of the tax code. They're taking advantage of you, the American consumer. Here's my message to all of you out there. I have your back. We're already preventing Americans from receiving surprise medical bills, stopping $1 billion surprise bills per month so far. We're protecting seniors' life savings by cracking down on nursing homes that commit fraud, endanger patient safety, prescribe drugs that are not needed. Millions of Americans can now save thousands of dollars because they can finally get a hearing aid over the counter without a prescription. Look, capitalism without competition is not capitalism. It's extortion. It's exploitation. Last year, I cracked down with the help of many of you on foreign shipping companies that were making you pay higher prices for every good coming into the country. I signed a bipartisan bill that cut shipping costs by 90%, helping American farmers, businessmen, and consumers. Let's finish the job. Pass the bipartisan legislation to strengthen antitrust enforcement and prevent big online platforms from giving their own products an unfair advantage. My administration is also taking on junk fees, those hidden surcharges too many companies use to make you pay more. For example, we're making airlines show you the full ticket price up front, refund your money if your flight is canceled or delayed. We've reduced exorbitant bank overdrafts by saving consumers more than $1 billion a year. We're cutting credit card late fees by 75%, from $30 to $8. Look, Junk fees may not matter to the very wealthy, but they matter to most other folks in homes like the one I grew up in, like many of you did. They add up to hundreds of dollars a month. They make it harder for you to pay your bills or afford that family trip. I know how unfair it feels when a company overcharges you and gets away with it. Not anymore. We've written a bill to stop it all. It's called the Junk Fee Prevention Act. We're going to ban surprise resort fees that hotels charge on your bill. Those fees can cost you up to $90 a night at hotels that aren't even resorts. The idea that cable, internet, and cell phone companies can charge you $200 or more if you decide to switch to another provider. Give me a break. We can stop service fees on tickets to concerts and sporting events and make companies disclose all the fees up front. And we'll prohibit airlines from charging $50 round trip for a family just to be able to sit together. Baggage fees are bad enough. Airlines can't treat your child like a piece of baggage. Americans are tired of being. We're tired of being played for suckers. So pass the Junk Fee Prevention Act so companies stop ripping us off. For too long, workers have been getting stiffed, but not anymore. We're beginning to restore the dignity of work. For example, I should have known this, but I didn't until 2 years ago. 30 million workers have to sign non-compete agreements for the jobs they take. 30 million. So a cashier at a burger place can't walk across town and take the same job at another burger place and make a few bucks more. It just changed. But they just changed it because we exposed it. That was part of the deal, guys. Look it up. But not anymore. We're banning those agreements so companies have to compete for workers and pay them what they're worth. And I must tell you, this is bound to get a response from my friends on my left but the right. I'm so sick and tired of companies breaking the law by preventing workers from organizing. Pass the PRO Act, because business have a right. Workers have a right to form a union. And let's guarantee all workers have a living wage. Let's make sure working parents can afford to raise a family with sick days, paid family medical leave, affordable child care. That's going to enable millions of more people to go and stay at work. And let's restore the full child tax credit, which gave tens of millions of parents some breathing room and cut child poverty in half to the lowest level in history. And by the way, when we do all these things, we increase productivity. We increase economic growth. So let's finish the job and get more families access to affordable, quality housing. Let's get seniors who want to stay in their homes the care they need to do so. Let's give more breathing room to millions of family caregivers looking after their loved ones. Pass my plan so we get seniors and people with disabilities the home care and services they need. And support the workers who are doing God's work. These plans are fully paid for and we can afford to do them. Restoring the dignity of work means making education an affordable ticket to the middle class. You know, when we made public education, 12 years of it, universal in the last century, we made the best educated, best paid, we became the best educated, best paid nation in the world. But the rest of the world's caught up. It's caught up. Jill, my wife, who teaches full time, has an expression. I hope I get it right, kid. Any nation that out-educates us is going to out-compete us. Any nation that out-educates is going to out-compete us. Folks, we all know 12 years of education is not enough to win the economic competition of the 21st century. We want to have the best educated workforce. Let's finish the job by providing access to preschool for 3 and 4 years old. Studies show that children who go to preschool are nearly 50% more likely to finish high school and go on to earn a 2 or 4 year degree, no matter their background they came from. Let's give public school teachers a raise. We're making progress by reducing student debt, increasing Pell Grants for working and middle-class families. Let's finish the job and connect students to career opportunities starting in high school, provide access to 2 years of community college, the best career training in America in addition to being a pathway to a 4-year degree. Let's offer every American a path to a good career, whether they go to college or not. And folks, in the midst of the COVID crisis, when schools were closed and we were shutting down everything, let's recognize how far we came in the fight against the pandemic itself. While the virus is not gone, thanks to the resilience of the American people and the ingenuity of medicine, we've broken the COVID grip on us. COVID deaths are down by 90%. We've saved millions of lives and opened up our country. We opened our country back up, and soon we'll end the public health emergency. But that's called a public health emergency. But we'll remember the toll and pain that's never going to go away. More than 1 million Americans lost their lives to COVID. 1 million. Families grieving, children orphaned, empty chairs at the dining room table constantly reminding you that she used to sit there. Remembering them, we remain vigilant. We still need to monitor dozens of variants and support new vaccines and treatments. So Congress needs to fund these efforts and keep America safe. And as we emerge from this crisis stronger, we're also got to double down on prosecuting criminals who stole relief money meant to keep workers and small businesses afloat. Before I came to office, you remember, during that campaign, the big issue was about inspector generals who would protect taxpayers' dollars who were sidelined. They were fired. Many people said we don't need them. And fraud became rampant. Last year, I told you the watchdogs are back. Since then, we've recovered billions of taxpayers' dollars. Now let's triple the anti-fraud strike force going after these criminals, double the statute of limitations on these crimes, and crack down on identity fraud by criminal syndicates stealing billions of dollars from the American people. And the data shows that for every dollar we put into fighting fraud, the taxpayers get back at least 10 times as much. It matters. It matters. Look, COVID left its scars, like the spike in violent crime in 2020, the first year of the pandemic. We have an obligation to make sure all people are safe. Public safety depends on public trust, as all of us know. But too often that trust is violated. Joining us tonight are the parents of Tyree Nichols. Welcome. We had to bury Tyree last week. As many of you personally know, there's no words to describe the heartache or grief of losing a child. But imagine if you lost that child.
That guy's name was Tyre, though. T-Y-R-E.
Imagine having to worry whether your son or daughter came home from walking down the street.
That's how they spell Tyre in, like, England.
Playing in the park or just driving a car. Most of us in here have never had to have the talk that brown and black parents have had to have with their children. Bo, Hunter, Ashley, my children. I never had to have the talk with them. I never had to tell them if a police
Joe Biden's talking about giving the talk,
turn your
but he
interior
means
lights on right away.
a different kind of talk. But he went the talk about cutting your dick off, but no, he's talking about the talk that black and brown families have to have with the police about the police.
Every single time.
And it's like, as a white person, I definitely got the same talk. It's like, hey, do what they tell you to do.
When I ask her how she finds
I think that's a talk everyone has their parents and Right.
The faith
Yeah.
of God, she
Yeah.
said
If
her
they,
son was,
if the
quote,
police are pointing a
beautiful
gun at
soul.
you, you should probably listen.
Something good will come of this.
I feel like that's not a. I feel like that talk goes beyond
Imagine how much
racial
courage and
bounds.
charity that
You know, you
takes.
don't
It's up to us.
like. I
All
hope
of
so,
us.
at least. I mean, they
We
should
all want
only
the
have
same
to.
thing.
Not listen. Bad
Neighborhoods
things.
free of
Yeah,
violence.
they will probably
Law
shoot you.
enforcement, of
Yeah.
course, earns the community's trust.
I don't think that
Just
what
as
color
every
you are
cop with a
matters
pin
for
on
that
their badge
talk.
in the morning has a right to be able to go home
You
tonight.
can't really go like, I didn't
So
think
does
that they'd
everybody
shoot
else out
me. It's like, yeah, they
Our
absolutely
children
will.
have a right to come home
Yeah,
safely.
they actually signed up to do that. They show up to
Equal
work every day to a
protection
job that doesn't pay that
under the
well
law is a
because they might
covenant
get to shoot you or beat you
we
up.
have with each other in
That's the
America.
only reason.
I didn't think it's
And if you have any money, they might underreport how much you had
We
and
know.
say, "Oh, it must have fell out of your pockets when
Police
we were
officers
beating
put
you
their
on the
lives on
street."
line every
That's what the
single night
police
and
do.
day.
So, and then they're
We
gonna
know we
charge a
ask
bunch of
them in
money,
many
which is
cases
gonna
to do too
go
much,
like
be
for your
counselors,
fines,
social workers,
and that money goes
psychologists,
back to the
responding
city and ends
drug
up back in their
overdoses,
pockets
mental
again.
health crisis,
So,
and so much more.
yeah, that's
In one sense, we
That's
ask
how that
much
works.
too much of them.
and they're gonna
No,
use it to
most
get
cops
better
and their
guns and
families
better
are good,
armor to
decent,
kick in
honorable
your door
people, the vast
because I
majority.
don't know, maybe they got the address
risk.
wrong. You know, that happens sometimes. So yeah, and then they're gonna kill your dog, and then they're gonna say, "Oh, whoops, wrong house," and then they're gonna fight you in court over it. They're gonna say,
And
"Oh
they risk their
well,
lives
yeah, we're not gonna pay for that,"
Every time they
and
put
they're
that
gonna do everything
shield
they
on.
can to not give you $1 for what they did.
But what
So
happened to Tyree in Memphis happens too
Yep.
often.
they're the
We have to
good
do
guys.
better.
Those are the good guys.
Give law enforcement the real
Keep paying
training
taxes.
they need. Hold them to higher standards. Help them succeed in keeping us safe. We also need more first responders and professionals to address the growing mental health, substance abuse challenges. More resources to reduce violent crime and gun crime. More community intervention programs. More
Yeah,
investment
I
in
think we're
housing,
past
education,
community
and job
intervention for this whole like black gang thing where they're killing each other.
All
Like
this
they know
help
they're not
prevent
supposed to
violence in
do
the
it.
first place.
They're doing it
Police
anyways.
officers
we weren't supposed to.
Yeah, like you,
Police
it's not an
departments
education
violate the public
problem.
trust.
There's plenty of education. They
must
get free
be
college
held
if they sign up.
accountable.
That's not the problem. Like
The
more
support-
community centers is not going to stop them from doing this. It's just how it is.
with the support
And yeah,
of the
that's
families of victims,
that's really the truth.
civil rights groups, and law enforcement, I signed an executive order for all federal officers banning chokeholds, restricting no-knock warrants, and other key elements of the George Floyd Act. Let's commit ourselves to make the words of
I thought the
Thomas
George Floyd
true.
Act was just giving us all free
Something good
fentanyl.
must come from this. Something good. And all of us,
Why is he why is he not talking anymore? That lady's like pantomiming
folks,
something
it's
to the
difficult, but
president.
it's simple. All of us in this chamber, we need to rise to this moment. We can't turn away. Let's do what we know in our hearts that we need to do. Let's come together to finish the job on police reform. Do something. Do something. That was the plea of parents who lost their children in Uvalde. I met with every one of them. Do something about gun violence. Thank God. Thank God we did.
What did you didn't do shit.
Passing the most sweeping gun safety law in 3 decades.
Yeah, but that's not gonna stop anything.
That includes things
That only
like
screws over people who got it
that the
legally.
majority of responsible gun owners already support. Enhanced
They don't,
background
though.
checks for 18 to 21 years old. Red flag laws, keeping guns out of the hands of people who are a danger to themselves and others. But we know our work is not done. Joining us tonight is Brandon Say, a 26-year-old hero. Brandon put his college dreams on hold to be at his mom's side. His mom's side when she was dying from cancer.
What the hell does that have to do with gun violence? Some Chinese guy put his life on hold because his mom had cancer to come to the State of the Union. I don't understand how these things go together. But it's while he's talking about gun violence.
Brandon now works at a dance studio started by his
Now he works at a
grandparents.
dance studio.
2
What did
weeks
that
ago,
dance studio get shot up? Why
during
is this
the
relevant?
Lunar New Year
None of this has to do with gun
We heard
violence
the
and gun
studio
control.
door closed.
Like, that's
You
how
saw a
life
man
about
standing there
that.
pointing.
Maybe they mean because
Semi-automatic
he's been
pistol
dancing
act.
so long, his body is a
Thought he was
lethal
going to
weapon.
die.
much
brought our
like a
people aside.
firearm. In which case, good
In
job,
that instant, he
good job,
found the
Daniel, or
courage
whatever
to
the hell your
act
name is.
And wrestled a semi-automatic pistol away from the gunman who had already killed 11 people in another dance studio. 11.
Oh shit! No, yeah, that did happen.
saved
There
lives.
was a shooting in the dance studio,
It's time we do the
and
same.
he wrestled the gun
Banned
away.
assault weapons.
But also,
now.
he's Asian, and they all
Ban
know
them
karate.
now.
So, I mean,
Once and for
anyone
all.
who's seen a Jackie Chan movie knows that if you try to point a gun at Jackie Chan's gonna win. And he's
I
gonna
led
kick
the
the shit
fight
out
to
of
do
you
that in
with his dance
1994.
moves, and that's what that Asian man did.
In 10 years.
The Asian
that
man is
ban
sitting
was
next to
law, mass
Sting.
shootings
I
went
actually don't know
down.
what Sting looks like.
After we let it expire in the Republican administration.
You
mass
can't-
shootings
No, you
tripled.
don't get to eat the
Let's
sour
finish the
cream and
job
salsa.
And ban these assault
Puppies
weapons.
don't need sour cream and
And let's
salsa.
also come together on immigration.
Why would a puppy even want that?
Make it a bipartisan issue once again.
Still have 2
We
burgers on the
know
stove.
we now have a record number of personnel
did you
working
put
to
them at the
secure the
other ones?
border, arresting 8,000 human smugglers, seizing over 23,000 pounds
We only have
of
25 of
fentanyl
those.
in just the last several months.
They got like the
We
nice
launched
freezer
a new
bags.
border plan last month. Unlawful
Instead of the
migration from
cheap sandwich
Cuba,
bags,
Haiti,
they're like
Nicaragua, and
200 of them.
Venezuela has come
They're
down
cheaper.
97% as
So
a
that's why I've been
consequence.
trying to not use them because
But American
they're good
border
bags, but
problems
just using them to
won't be
put
fixed until Congress acts.
a couple
If
thin
we
sliders
don't pass my comprehensive immigration
in the
reform,
fridge.
at
Now we
least
have
pass my
19
plan to
left or
provide the
whatever.
equipment and officers to secure the border.
And when we get ground beef, we usually put it in like 6 different bags. So,
And a pathway to citizenship
yeah.
for dreamers, those on temporary status, farm workers, essential workers. Here in the People's House, it's our duty to protect all the people's rights and freedoms. Congress must restore the right
Oh,
and the
what happened to it last time? Where
Congress
it was
must
like burned on the
restore
outside?
the right that was taken away in Roe v. Wade. And
Yeah, but
protect
how
Roe
does
v.
that? Are we
Wade.
supposed to take it out and baste it? I don't know how that works.
Give every woman
I
a
feel like we
constitutional
should
right.
have lowered it probably, and it shouldn't have been
The
as
Vice
close to the
President and
top
I are
there.
doing everything to protect access
Yeah.
to
Other
reproductive
than that, I don't know.
health care and safeguard patient safety. But already more than a dozen states are enforcing extreme abortion bans. Make no mistake about it. If
So they're
Congress
calling
passes
the
a national
they're calling
ban,
the
I
abortion
will
bans
veto it.
extreme, but not the fact that you can kill a baby right before
But
it's
let's
born
also
is
pass.
not the extreme part.
Let's also pass the bipartisan.
Oh, he was
Equality Act,
bragging before
which
about
LGBTQ
unemployment stuff. He's like,
Americans,
unemployment's at a
especially
record
transgender young
low,
people,
and
who
also
live with
black
safety
and
and dignity.
Hispanic unemployment's also at like
strength.
an all-time record low. And it's like, wow, Joe Biden's putting them back to work.
Our
You
strength
know
is
what I
not
mean?
just
Like,
the example of
I
our
put
power,
more black people
but the power of our
into,
example.
than any other president in
Let's
history.
remember the world's watching.
It's like, is that really good though? Like,
I
because you
spoke
could
in this
twist
chamber
that
1
shit
year
around
ago.
real easy if you
This
wanted to
days
fuck with
after
them.
Vladimir
Like,
Putin unleashes brutal attack
you
against
know what I
Ukraine.
mean?
A
Joe
murderous
Biden's put
assault.
more black people into
Woke
jobs.
images of death and
There are
destruction
more people in
Europe
slavery.
suffered in World War II. Putin's invasion has been
I don't
a
know.
test
Whatever.
for the ages.
That's funny. I don't care.
Test for America. Test for the world.
Really, it's a good,
He's-
really good point.
Would
too.
we stand for
I
the most
know
basic
it's
of
a weird
principles?
thing to brag about.
Would we
I don't
stand
know.
for sovereignty? We stand for the right of people to live free of charity.
Very-
I
We
didn't do it.
stand
I'm
for
not the one
defense of
saying it.
democracy. For such
I'm the one
defense
comparing
matters
it
to
to
us
slavery, but that's
because it keeps
because I
peace
mean that's an easy
and
thing to do,
prevents
and he's
open
bragging
season
about
on would-be aggressors
putting black
and
people to
threatens our
work. I
prosperity.
mean, shit. I'm not the one doing it.
1 year later, we know the answer. Yes.
Holy
we
shit!
would,
One of them's
and
wearing
we did.
the jacket like what
We
Ricky.
did.
You know, he's got like the wolf's hound. I think it's like the black and white
And
checkered
together,
thing, but it's zigzag.
We did what America always
Trailer
does
Park
at our
Boys.
best. We led.
I know, Rick.
We united NATO. We built a global
One,
coalition.
there's a lady who's wearing
stood
like
against
the
Putin's
same kind of
aggression.
thing, but
We
I
stood
think
with the
she's
Ukrainian people
trying to look
tonight,
all upper
once
classy, but
again
I just
joined
see
by
Trailer Park
Ukrainians
Boys when I
ambassador
see
to the
it.
United States. She represents not just her nation, but the courage of her people. Ambassador,
Thank Ricky.
Yeah,
our ambassador is here. United, we're
it's
in
like a
united
checker
support of the
pattern,
country.
but it's black and
We
white.
stand so we can
And
all
it's
take
called
a look at it.
houndstooth something.
Thank you.
He's thanking people. Holy shit! That man's nose.
Because we're going to stand with you
I wonder what religion he
as long
is.
as it takes.
You could go fishing with that nose. It's got a very
Our nation's
distinct,
working for more freedom, more dignity,
curve.
more peace, not just in Europe but everywhere.
which is weird because he's wearing
Before
like
I
a
came
bowler's
to
hat
office, the
instead of a
story was
yarmulke,
about how
but
the
still, you can
People's
tell.
Republic of China was increasing its power, and America was failing in the
He's
world.
probably got a yarmulke under the bowler's
Not
hat.
anymore. We made clear, and I made clear in my personal conversations
undercover.
with many, with President Xi, that we seek competition, not conflict. But I will make no apologies that we're investing to make America stronger. Investing in American innovation and industries that will define the future that China intends to be dominating. Investing in our alliance
Sweet.
and working with our allies to protect advanced technologies so they will not be used against us. Modernizing our military to safeguard stability.
We should have been
and
modernizing our military this
aggression.
entire time with all the money
Today,
fucking people
we're
spend
the
on it with our
strongest position in
taxes.
decades to
We
compete
have
with
like we
China
spend
or
more money
anyone
on our
else in
military
the
than
world.
any other country in the
Anyone
world
else in the
combined.
And I'm
But
committed.
like, they're like, we're gonna try to modernize our military. And it's like, what the fuck have you guys been doing with all the money then?
I'm committed to work with China where we can advance.
It's like you've
American
been getting the
interests
money. I
and benefit
thought
the
you were
world.
building
Make
new
no
shit. I
mistake
thought that
about it.
was just kind of what the
As
money
we
went
made
towards. I
clear
didn't.
last week,
What
if China
else?
threatens our sovereignty, we will act to protect our
Yeah,
country. And
just
we did.
where's the money been going, sir?
Look, let's be clear.
There's like this weird
Winning the
purple-haired
competition should
transgender
unite all of
creature.
us.
It's
We face
sitting
serious
next to
challenges
Maxine
across
Waters.
the world. But in the past
They
2
haven't
years,
really shown
democracies
Kamala
have
Harris's
become
face at
stronger,
all,
not
but
weaker.
her suit looks kind
Autocracy's
of.
grown
I mean,
weaker,
it doesn't
not
look terrible
stronger.
for once.
Name
She's wearing
me a
like
world
a
leader
weird kind of blouse thing and
who
like
changed
a,
places with Xi Jinping.
with like
Name me
a
one.
woman suit over it.
Name me one.
She's got pearls.
America's rallying the world to meet those challenges, from climate to global
Yep.
health to food insecurity to
That, they
terrorism,
just want to know when it's
territorial
coming off.
aggression. Allies are stepping up, spending
Tells
more.
you if you're
doing
Montel
more.
Williams or
Look,
Willie Brown.
the bridges we're forming between partners in the Pacific and those in the Atlantic.
I mean, that would
Those
kind
that
of suck
bet
though to
against
know that the
America
only
learning
reason you got your
how
job is
wrong they
because you
are.
were a certain gender
It's
and you were a
never,
certain
ever been a
race.
good bet to bet against
Like, yeah, you really could have been anybody, but yeah, you match these two criteria. Holy shit, one of them, there's this one bitch who's dressed like, she's dressed like a anime character, like a robot.
Well,
Like, everyone else is wearing, like, purple
When I
and
came
all
to
sorts of
office,
shit,
most
but, like, this
assured
lady's
that
wearing
bipartisanship
this
was
yellow
soon
monstrosity type
impossible.
thing with, like, anime.
never believed it. That's why a year ago
Like,
I offered a unity.
I don't know.
nation.
Hopefully they show her again. They'll probably
We
will.
made real progress together. We passed a law making it easy for doctors to prescribe effective.
Yep, I am narrating the State of the Union.
We passed
Nobody's
gun
watching
safety
this
law,
because
making
why would they?
historic investments in mental health. We launched the ARPA-H drive for breakthrough in the fights against cancer, Alzheimer's, and diabetes, and so much more.
And everything else that I've been diagnosed
passed
with.
The Heath Robinson Pact Act, named after the late Iraq War veteran whose story about exposure to toxic burn kits I shared.
I like
here
how they
last
keep trying to
year.
talk about this toxic burn shit, like the burn pit stuff. Like, they weren't the ones who made those soldiers burn all that stuff. Like, that was all the. No, that lady. Look at her.
I understand
She's dressed like
something about
fucking
those burn
anime.
kits, but there's so much more to do.
Did you see it?
We can do
With
it
the
together.
shoulder. Yeah, she's the only one wearing
Join
yellow.
us
You can call her
tonight.
Banana, but
There's a father named Doug.
she also looks like
From Newton,
a
New
Gundam wing or like
He
a
wrote Jill, my wife, a
like
letter.
one of those robot
reads
mech suit
well.
things. Like her
About his
shoulders like
courageous
stick
daughter,
out all
Courtney.
weird.
Like she's
Contagious
trying to make
laugh.
fashions tight.
His sister's
Yeah,
best
it's
friend,
like she
her
got the
sister's
Grammys
best
mixed
friend.
up with.
He shared the story all through
Yeah,
the
she's
Americans.
she's
Many
wrong
of
night,
you
wrong
know.
state, wrong side of the country.
Courtney discovered pills in high school.
But yeah, like the burn
Spiraled into
pit stuff,
addiction.
where they're like they made the troops
Eventually
burn
death
that
from a
stuff, and then they
fentanyl
found out
overdose.
that they like gave him cancer, and
She's
it's really
just
bad
20
for
years
him.
old.
So now they're like, we're doing a great
Described
job.
in the
We're
last
gonna
8
give
years
them
of
all
modern
money.
drugs said,
But they're not really
There's
gonna give
no
them money. It's gonna go
worse
towards
pain.
like treating the diseases they got when they
If their
made them burn
families
that
turned
stuff.
pain to purpose,
And that's when he was vice
working
president.
in
Was
the
when that
street,
was happening too.
and changed
So
the
like
law.
all the shit that they made the troops do
told
that
us
got
he
them
wants
sick.
to
They're
start
like,
a
we
journey
did a
toward
great
American
thing.
republic.
We're gonna maybe kind of
going
help
with
them a
you.
little bit till they just die.
Fentanyl is killing more
Like,
than 70,000
it's-
Americans.
but
a year.
like it's a victory that they're clapping for.
Big,
Yeah.
you got it.
Holy shit! I thought that lady's. I thought it was a chair, but it was some lady's knees.
So let's launch a major
I was like,
surge
why
to
does she have
stop
like this
fentanyl
weird
production
headdress over
and
the
the
back?
sale
But it
and
was some other
trafficking.
lady's leg
With
matched
more
her.
drug detection machines,
Like
inspection
her
cargoes,
skirt
stop
matched
pills and
the
powder
lady's
at the
pants.
border.
Right there. See? Those two colors
Working
look
with
very
couriers
similar.
like FedEx to inspect more packages for drugs. Strong
no.
families to crack down on fentanyl trafficking.
They're gonna
Second,
start
let's
looking
do
through
more mental health,
packages through
especially for our
FedEx
children.
for drugs.
When millions of young people are struggling with
That's
bullying, violence,
it's not
trauma,
good.
we give them greater access to mental health.
Maybe
care
don't
through
do that, you
schools.
guys.
We must finally hold social
like Mitch
media
Hedberg
companies
said,
accountable for
My favorite
experimenting
guy
and
is
doing
the
running
UPS.
children for
My
profit.
favorite person is the UPS driver.
It's
He's a
time to
drug
pass
dealer and he doesn't
bipartisan
even know it,
legislation
and he's always on time.
To stop big tech from collecting personal data on our kids and teenagers online.
That guy. See, she's got the Trailer Park Boys,
Ban targeted
and then she's got the
advertising to
anime.
children and impose stricter limits on the personal data. that
Yeah, but you
companies
see
collect
that
on
shit?
all of
She's
us.
got like
Third,
armor,
let's
robot
do more to
armor
keep this
wings.
nation's one truly sacred obligation.
Yeah, she's ready to
Put those who
use
send
the
them to harm's way
fucking
and care for
boosters
them
and
and
her
their families when they
stilettos
come
to shoot off into
Job
space like
training,
Mega
job
Man.
placement for veterans and their spouses as they come to return to civilian life.
Yeah, basically, she's gonna
Helping
turn
veterans
into a car in
afford
the
the
parking
rent.
lot. Everyone's
Because
gonna
no one should
drive
be
her
homeless
back
in
like an
America,
Uber.
Especially someone who served the country.
Bumblebee is in the State of the Union, apparently. That's pretty cool. Which one?
Dennis McDonough is here.
I don't know.
VA.
She had a lot of energy before, and
We had
now
a first
the
real
energy's
discussion
going
to ask him
down.
to take the job. I'm glad he did.
Honestly, I've been looking at her. She keeps doing a
We're
lot
losing
of
up
the
to
same
25
the
veterans
same
a day
hand
on
motions, and I think she's
suicide.
lying.
Now we're losing 17.
I don't think she
a day
actually knows
to
what
the
she's
silent
doing.
scourge of suicide.
But
17
also,
veterans a day are
If you
committing
kind of,
suicide.
I was like thinking about what if she was
More
like
than all the people being killed in
doing that for the
wars.
deaf people. She's like telling the truth about what's
Folks,
going on.
VA
You know what I mean?
is
So like
doing
we
everything they can.
listen to it, and
including
it's like, oh, all that
expanding
stuff sounds pretty
mental
good,
health
but like
screening,
she's like, it's only
approval
going to get
programs
worse.
that
They're
are
taking
good
all
for
of your money.
veterans,
You know,
help
like
veterans
yeah,
understand
like
what
buy
they're
a bunch
going
of
through.
emergency food
Get them the
and
help
build
they
a
need.
shelter out in the woods, like
gotta do
whatever.
more.
Yeah,
And fourth,
yeah, get underground as
Last
quick
year,
as
Joe and
possible.
I
Keep
agreed
all of your
to
electronics in
protect
a
the
Faraday
moonshot.
cage.
that I was able to start.
There are more
President Obama
balloons.
asked
There
me
will
to
be
lead
more
our
balloons.
administration on this issue. Our goal is to cut the cancer death rates
Yeah.
at least by 50%.
Do
in
not
next
let the
25
smile on
years.
my face deceive you. I am
Turn more
actually
cancer
horrified.
death sentences to
Yeah, I know, but
treatable
like,
diseases.
yeah.
Provide more support for patients and their
She's
families.
getting into it earlier, and she was really
It's
happy.
personal to so many of us. So many of us in this audience.
Yep, it is.
Joining
I
us,
can't see it because of the reflection.
Morris and Candice, an Irishman and the daughter of immigrants from Panama. They met and fell in love in New York City and got married in the same
She does
chapel
not
Bill
look
and I got
comfortable
married
at
in
all.
New York City.
None of these people are.
Kindred spirits.
Yeah,
noticed
that
a
the
letter
teenage girl next to them
My
is just
little
like, what the
daughter
fuck?
Ava.
She's
I
like, can
saw
you
her
move the
just
camera,
before I came
please?
home.
She even rolled her eyes at the end.
She was just a year old when she
Hilarious.
was diagnosed with rare kidney
Yep.
disease, cancer.
My stupid mom is on TV
26
in the State of the
blood
Union.
11 rounds
Wait, that's
of
not my mom. That was a
radiation,
black lady.
8 rounds
Ugh.
of chemo.
My
chemo,
dad married the maid, and now I have to go
One
live at my
kidney
mom's for half the week.
Given a 5% survival rate. He wrote how in the darkest moments he thought, if she goes,
Yeah.
I can't stay. Many of you have been through that as well. Julian, I understand that like so many of you.
I used to hide my dad's
We read Jill's book
my dad's
describing
expensive
our
stuff in
family's
her
cancer
purse, and then call the police
How
to
we
try to get her
tried to steal
deported.
moments of
My
joy
dad said she was born
when we
here.
could with Bo. For them, that glimmer of joy was the half smile of their baby girl. And then everything. They never gave
So I
up
ripped
hope.
up her birth certificate. Oh
Well,
shit,
everybody
that's
gave up.
Jill Biden's right next to her. I
She
didn't know
turns
that
4
was
next
those
month.
same people. Whatever. Also, Joe Biden's
They
not
just
wearing a
found
wedding
out
ring, and he's the only one who's not wearing a
Ava's
wedding
beating
ring.
the odds, is on her way to being cured of cancer. And she's watching from the White House tonight if she's not asleep already. For the lives we can save.
Yeah, but you guys don't want to save lives. You guys are trying to start the overpopulation stuff. You're trying,
For
like
the lives we can save. and the
saving
lives
lives
we've
does
lost.
not help your overpopulation
Let this be
agenda.
a truly
So
American moment.
we know that's not what you're doing.
Rallies the country and the world together and prove that we can still do big things. 20 years ago, under the leadership of President Bush and countless advocates and champions, He undertook a bipartisan effort through PEPFAR to transform the global fight against HIV/AIDS. It's been a huge success.
Yeah,
He
and the
thought
same
big.
guy who fumbled
He
in
thought
the AIDS
large.
crisis and
He
killed
knew.
all those gay people with the AIDS stuff is the
I
same guy
believe
you
we
put
can
in
do
charge
the
of
same thing
COVID.
with cancer.
And you don't know, and people are still acting like, oh, I don't know why. I was
Let's
thinking about
end
that
cancer
earlier
as
too,
we
like,
know it.
if you are, you know, like the
Cure
gay
some
people who are like
cancers.
super Democrat and they're like, oh, we
Once
love
and
the
for all.
government and blah 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 and all that stuff,
Folks,
and like they were like really
There's
for
one
the
reason why
pandemic
we've
stuff.
been
It's
able to
like
do all
AIDS
these
killed
things.
however many of your
our
friends,
democracy itself.
and that was Dr.
the
Fauci.
most
And then as
fundamental
soon
thing
as
of all.
Dr. Fauci comes out saying some other shit, you
Democracy.
guys are all like, oh my
Everything's
god, I love
possible.
Dr. Fauci.
Without it,
Dr. Fauci's so
nothing
awesome. And it's like you
The
don't
last few
remember
years, our
everyone that
democracy's been
he
threatened
killed,
and attacked, put
like
at
in
risk.
your own gay
put to the
community.
test in this
with
very room on January
like
the 6th.
he's the hero now.
And then just a few months
Like
ago,
really?
an unhinged,
Yeah, that's
big lie,
that's how it goes, I guess.
assailant unleashed a political violence at the home of the then Speaker of the House of
Oh
Representatives.
yeah.
Using the very same language the insurrectionists used as they stalked these halls and chanted on January 6th. Here tonight in this chamber is a man who bears the scars of that brutal attack, but is as tough and as strong and as resilient as they get.
That
My
guy.
friend
He's
Paul
the guy with the
Pelosi.
nose.
Paul, stand up.
Hopefully they show him from the side again. But like this man's nose is remarkable. I think he just looked at Nancy Pelosi and said, I think he's
Such a
Jewish.
heinous act should have never happened.
I'm also reading
Let's
lips
all
and
speak out.
totally making
There's
up
no
what they're
place
saying.
for political violence.
But it
in
kind of
America.
matched it, looked like
We have to
syllable-wise.
protect the right to vote, not suppress that fundamental right. Honor the results of our elections, not subvert the will of people.
They're
We have
saying
to
they're going to
uphold the
honor
rule
the
of law and
results of
restore trust
elections
in our
after they cried about
institutions of
Russia for like 4 years,
We
6
must
years.
give hate and
They're like,
extremism.
Russia interfered with our
in any
elections, and
form
they're like,
no
we just
safe
really need to
harbor.
start saying that, you know, the elections are real. Because we won, and if you say otherwise, then
Democracy.
we're going to throw you in jail.
Must not be a partisan issue. It's an American issue.
It is an American issue, and we're not technically a
Every generation of
democracy, so what the
Americans
fuck are
faced
you
the moment
talking
where they
about?
have been called to protect our
We're a
democracy,
constitutional
defend it,
republic.
stand up for
The
it.
fact that you're going up here saying
This
that we
is
need
our
to
moment.
get back to democracy shows
My
you have a
fellow
fundamental
Americans,
misunderstanding of what this
We
country
meet
is
tonight at an inflection point.
and what it's
One
supposed
of
to
those
be.
moments that only a few generations ever face, where the direction we now take is going to decide the course of
Yeah,
this
he's not
nation
wearing
for
his wedding
decades
ring.
to come. We're not bystanders of history.
I don't know. Is
We're
that
not
weird?
powerless
Is
before
that
the
not
forces
weird?
that confront us. It's within our power of we the people.
Sign
We're
language
facing the
lady
test
has
of our
hers.
time.
Kamala Harris has hers.
We have to be the nation we've always been.
McConnell
at our
or
best.
whoever the fuck is up there,
Optimistic,
McCarthy. Yeah,
hopeful,
he's married to that fake
forward-looking.
doctor
The
who
nation that
teaches
embraces
kindergarten
light over
education
dark,
or whatever.
hope over fear, unity over
Yeah.
division, stability over chaos. We have to see
Unless
each other
that's the
not as
body
enemies,
double.
but as fellow Americans.
No,
good people.
I don't know.
The
Well, they have
only
all that
nation
plastic
in the
surgery
world
stuff
built
where they
on
can
an
just make your
idea.
face look totally different.
The only one.
So, I don't know.
Other nations are defined by geography, ethnicity.
We are defined
We're
by
the only
geography.
nation based on an idea that all of us, every one of us, is created equal in the image of God.
Even
A
that guy
nation
up there who
stands
can't
as a
walk,
beacon
he's
of the
created
world.
as equal as I am. An
A
Olympic
nation.
runner.
In a new age of possibilities.
We are totally equal in every
I've
way.
come to fulfill my constitutional obligations.
Just like that blind
to tell
guy.
the State of the Union.
My eyes work
Here's
just
my
fine,
report.
but I'm equal to that
Because
blind
the soul of
man.
this nation
We
is
can do all the
strong.
same things.
Because the
He's
backbone
driving us
and
all
backbone
home
of
later.
this nation is strong. Because the people of this nation are strong. The state
If you
of
don't
the
get in the
Union
car
is
without a
strong.
seatbelt, you're a bigot. You hate blind people if you won't let him drive. I don't know why I'm doing that like Mitch Hedberg. I don't think Mitch Hedberg would say anything like that.
I'm not new to this place. I stand here tonight.
Yeah, you're not new to it. Your
Served
only
as
job
long
has
as
been
about
being in
anyone who's
politics
ever
your entire
served.
fucking life. Of course you're not new to this.
But I've never been more optimistic about our future, about the future of America. We just have to remember who we are. We're
Joe
the
Biden says
United
he's never been more
States of
optimistic
America,
about our
and there's
future.
nothing,
But also
nothing
he's,
beyond
like,
our
really old and
capacity
probably gonna be
if
dead
we
soon.
do it together. God
know what I
bless
mean?
you
Like,
all.
natural
May God
causes,
protect our
like-
troops.
He's really optimistic because either way he's on his way out and he's made peace with that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Kamala Harris just pointed and told him what to do. She literally looked at him, pointed, and then told him to go shake those people's hands. Well, that is the State of the Union. I do not feel like I learned anything about what state the Union is in. I'm not really sure why I thought I would. But that is the state of it, and that is the state of things. Things were stated. And yeah. That's about it. Hope you guys learned something, because I sure didn't. Average view duration, 5 seconds. Someone watched this for 5 seconds. It's pretty awesome.